My sister prank called my boss Mr. Daniels and got me fired. But when I landed an even better job with triple to pay, my entire family crawled back begging for handouts. I just smiled and said, check your mailboxes. Their faces turned pale when they opened them, and that was before they saw what was inside. Hi. My name is Selena and I'm 29 years old. I've always been the quiet one in the family. You know the type, head down, work hard, never ask for much. My sister Cassandra. Complete opposite. Loud, dramatic, always the center of attention. And unfortunately she's always had a bone to pick with me, especially when I started to do well in life. Growing up, I was the one who studied late into the night while Cassandra snuck out to meet her boyfriends. I got a scholarship to a good university. She barely graduated high school and bounced around minimum wage jobs while still living at home with mom and dad. For years I ignored the jabs, the eye rolls, the way she'd scoff when I talked about my job in corporate marketing. But I never expected her to go so far as to destroy my career out of pure jealousy. It started a few months ago. I had landed a position at a prestigious PR firm downtown. It was a dream job, great salary, amazing benefits, a clear path to upper management. I was finally able to move into a small condo and stop living paycheck to paycheck. Life was finally starting to feel stable until it all came crashing down. One afternoon my manager called me into her office looking uncomfortable. She told me someone had prank called the CEO pretending to be me, saying all sorts of inappropriate things about coworkers and mocking our clients. I was floored. I denied it immediately, but they said the caller had information only someone internal could know. HR got involved. It spiraled so quickly I barely had time to breathe. I was fired within a week. My reputation was left in tatters. For days I was devastated. I couldn't understand who would do something so vile. Then during a family dinner which I didn't even want to attend, Cassandra let it slip. She laughed about how some people take their jobs way too seriously and how funny it would be if someone just messed with them a little. My blood ran cold. I confronted her afterward and she didn't even deny it. She laughed in my face and said, just a little prank, sis. No need to get so emotional. You'll find another job. You always do. I left without another word. I was done with her. But what broke me wasn't just what she did, it was how the rest of my family responded. My mom said I should forgive her. My dad told me I was being dramatic. My cousin Ava, who's always been close to me, said Cassandra was just jealous and didn't mean it. Yet no one held her accountable. No one cared that she cost me everything. For the next few weeks I focused on picking up the pieces. I took freelance marketing gigs, started rebuilding my portfolio, and updated my LinkedIn. I went into full survival mode. I didn't ask anyone for help, not that they would have offered. Then out of nowhere something incredible happened. One of my freelance clients turned out to be the COO of a startup that had just secured major funding. He liked my work so much. He offered me a permanent role at almost double my old salary. The company had a flexible remote setup, generous equity, and they even wanted me to head their new brand strategy division. I said yes on the spot. Suddenly I was making more money than I ever had in my life. I upgraded to a better condo, finally bought myself a car, and started investing. And I told no one in my family, but they noticed. When I pulled up in my new car to a family barbecue, Cassandra practically choked on her drink. My mom raised her eyebrows. My uncle cornered me and asked, who's funding your lifestyle now, Selena? I smiled and shrugged. Just a little hard work. That was when the handout started. My mom called and asked for help covering her utilities. My dad needed a new set of tires. Cassandra. She messaged me asking if I could front her the down payment on an apartment. She even had the audacity to say, I figured you owed me after how cold you've been lately. I said no to all of them. Polite but firm. And suddenly I became the villain. I was called selfish, ungrateful, elitist. My mom sent a long text saying family is supposed to take care of each other. My dad said I forgot where I came from. Cassandra went on a full rant on Facebook, vaguely complaining about sisters who let money go to their heads. I had enough. I decided to give them what they wanted, just not in the way they expected. I told them I'd sent each of them something important in the mail and they should check their mailboxes in the next few days. They were thrilled. Finally, they said. Finally, Selena's coming around. What they didn't realize was that I hadn't just sent them envelopes. I sent them the truth. Each envelope contained printed email records, audio clips, and written documentation from my HR case, all pointing directly to Cassandra's prank call. I had hired a private investigator weeks after losing my job just to be sure, and he had traced the call to her burner phone confirmed via tower pings near her apartment at the time of the call. I included screenshots of her bragging in private chats obtained from a mutual friend who is sick of her drama. Everything. I also included a letter in each envelope. Not rude, not angry, just honest. I told them what losing that job had done to me, how betrayed I felt by their silence, how I clawed my way back not because of their help but in spite of their neglect. And I ended each letter with the same sentence. If this is what family looks like, maybe I'm better off on my own. The fallout was instant. The silence after the letters were delivered was deafening. For days, no calls, no texts, not even a passive-aggressive Facebook post. It was like a vacuum had swallowed the entire family. I'd expected rage, denial, maybe even Cassandra trying to defend herself, but nothing came until it did. 3 nights later, I got a call from my cousin Ava. She didn't even say hello. Just, "Selena, what the hell did you send everyone?" I sighed, leaned back in my chair, and simply said the truth. She went quiet for a moment, then whispered, "Cassandra's having a meltdown. Like full-on screaming at everyone. She's blaming you, saying you faked everything, that you're trying to ruin her life. Mom and Dad are freaking out because your parents are losing it too." I said nothing. Ava continued, "Honestly, I don't know what you were hoping to accomplish, but you definitely lit the whole place on fire." Good, I thought. It needed to burn. Later that night, my phone finally rang again, this time my mother. I didn't pick up. Then my father ignored. Then Cassandra. I blocked her. She switched to Instagram DMs, sending paragraph after paragraph accusing me of being cruel, manipulative, that I destroyed her relationship with a family. Then came the guilt trip. She had a panic attack. She might lose her job when she barely showed up to that I was heartless. That's when I realized something. Cassandra wasn't sorry. Not for what she did. Not for getting me fired. She was only sorry I exposed her. My mom sent one final message the next morning. "You didn't need to humiliate us all. You're not better than anyone else, Selena. Money doesn't buy you morals." I stared at that message for a long time, then deleted it, but not everyone turned on me. Ava showed up at my door that weekend. She brought wine, sat on my couch, and said, "You were right. They were all just using you." She told me how after my package arrived, my uncle started questioning the way my family always leaned on me, how Cassandra had confessed, albeit while drunk, that she thought it would be funny to ruin my job because she felt like I was always the golden child. Turns out the prank wasn't a one-time thing. Cassandra had snooped through my emails when I lived at home, read private work conversations, even once tried to submit a fake resignation on my behalf. The call that got me fired was just the final blow. I sat there numb, listening to Ava describe all the things no one ever told me. But the moment that sealed everything came a week later. I was at a coffee shop working remotely when a familiar voice called my name. It was Cassandra. She looked rough. Her eyes were puffy, makeup smudged, and she was clearly on edge. She asked to sit. I didn't respond. She sat anyway. "You ruined everything," she said. Her voice cracked. "Mom's not speaking to me. Dad's embarrassed to be seen with me. People at work are asking questions because someone leaked your HR stuff to Reddit. I don't even know what's true anymore." I stared at her for a long moment. Everything in the envelope was true. You just never thought I'd fight back. She looked like she wanted to scream. "It was a joke, Selena. A stupid joke." "No," I said quietly. "It was sabotage. And you knew exactly what you were doing." She stood up shaking and said something about how I'd always acted holier than thou, that I always made her feel small, that I had no idea what it was like to be the disappointment in the family. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. That night I wrote one final letter, but this one wasn't sent to family. It was for myself. I detailed everything I had endured, the betrayal, the silence, the guilt tripping, the resentment, and I burned it. Not for revenge, but for closure. Because for the first time in my life I didn't feel ashamed of standing up for myself. I cut off contact with my parents after that. Cassandra was already blocked. The noise died down eventually. Ava kept in touch, and a few extended family members messaged to say they supported me quietly, privately. I didn't blame them. People get scared of drama. But me, I wasn't scared anymore. I thrived. At my new job, I was promoted within 6 months. I started mentoring younger women entering the marketing field, telling them about red flags, about valuing your worth, and about setting boundaries even when it's with your own family. A year after the coffee shop incident, I got a LinkedIn message from my old manager, the one who had fired me. She'd heard about what happened. She apologized and offered me a partnership opportunity in her new firm. I thanked her and politely declined because I had built something better on my own terms. And for once, I wasn't the quiet one in the family anymore. I was the storm they never saw coming. I used to think keeping the peace meant keeping quiet, that being the bigger person meant swallowing every insult, every betrayal, and smiling through it, but not anymore. Now I know that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away from the people who treat your loyalty like a weakness. I didn't just rebuild my life. I reclaimed it. And as for my family, they finally saw what happens when the quiet one stops playing nice.